So this is what an anchor really does. A lot of people think huge ships stay in one place because the anchor just digs into the ocean floor and holds them there. But that's not exactly how it works. Think about it. You're talking about a ship that weighs hundreds of thousands of tons. There's no way a single metal hook is holding that steady against wind and ocean currents. That just doesn't add up. So what's actually going on? Most modern ships use something called a stockless anchor. It's got this heavy base with flukes, basically like blades, that can move. When the anchor hits the seabed and gets pulled sideways, those flukes turn and dig into the ground. But here's the catch. It really depends on what the bottom is like. If it's solid rock, forget it. The anchor just slides around, covered in seaweed. Same problem. Too slippery. Sand is okay, but not always super reliable. The best case is thick mud or clay. That's where the anchor can really dig in and hold tight. But even then, the anchor isn't the main thing doing the work. The real hero is the chain. On big ships, that chain can be hundreds of meters long. It's made of super strong steel, and each link can weigh around 160 kilos. Altogether, it can weigh tens of tons. Yeah, the anchor itself is crazy heavy, like over 20 tons. But its main job is just to hold the end of the chain in place. Once the anchor drops, the ship keeps letting out more chain. And the goal is not to keep it tight. Instead, the chain just lays down along the ocean floor, forming this big curved shape between the ship and the bottom. That curve is called a catenary. And it does two really important things. First, all that heavy chain sitting on the seabed creates friction and weight, kind of like a giant anchor by itself. Second, and this is the clever part, it acts like a shock absorber. When waves and wind push the ship, the force doesn't go straight to the anchor. The ship has to first lift part of that heavy chain off the bottom. That takes a lot of energy. So the chain slowly tightens and straightens out, kind of like a giant stretchy band, soaking up the force. By the time that force reaches the anchor, it's way weaker, just a steady pull instead of a hard yank. If that curve wasn't there, any sudden force could rip the anchor right out of the seabed. And we're talking about forces that can hit thousands of tons. So yeah, the real secret isn't the anchor, it's the shape of that chain. Now you might wonder, how do they know how much chain to let out? Usually they go with about 5 to 7 times the water depth. Before dropping anchor, they measure the depth using sonar. And how do they keep track of how much chain is out? Pretty simple. The chain is marked. It's made in sections, each about 27.5 meters long. The connections are painted red, and the links next to them are painted white. The number of white links tells you which section it is. 1 pair means the first section, 2 pairs means the second, and so on. Super simple, super reliable. So how do they pull the anchor back up? The ship moves forward toward where the anchor is while the chain is being pulled in. Once the ship is right above it, the chain goes straight up and down. That upward pull basically pops the anchor out of the seabed, like using a lever. So next time you see a massive ship just sitting still out in the water, it's not just parked, it's actually balancing forces in a pretty smart and precise way.